Hello class, I am recording this video to go over the instructions for the recommendation report assignment that is due this Monday. This assignment was broken into smaller pieces, starting with your memo assignment. Then we had the recommendation report part 2, part 3, and now we have the final recommendation report. So for the final recommendation report, now we are going to bring all those pieces together and put them into one document and submit that. So the assignment started with the memo assignment where you selected the assignment prompt, and let me bring that assignment up for you guys. That would be this one. Okay. So the topic when we started the memo was that you're going to find something that negatively impacts student life at your educational institution. Okay. So the memos you wrote looked something like that. You summarized what the issue is, then you went into a discussion about the details that you could find, the research that could support your claim, and then you led to the recommendations. This was a small assignment. It had to be just about a page long. So coming back to the main recommendation report assignment prompt, I want to take you to, we already know our topic. Now I want to take you to the parts of this report. All these are details, what's going to go into each part, but I'm going to a list where they're all listed together in one place, and that would be right here. Okay, I'll list them here. There are 10 different parts there'll be, and then there's details about what goes into each part followed by this list. So we're going to have the letter of transmittal, which is the memo you guys wrote. Then we have the cover page. We did this as the part 1 assignment. We have the abstract, which we did not develop before. That's part of this week's assignment. You will complete the whole report and then you'll summarize it into your words and put your abstract there. Okay. The third piece on your report will be the abstract. Then we have the table of contents. We've been working on this. We have the introduction, which you completed as part 1 assignment. And then you had the research methods and results. You guys completed this as part 3 assignment, and then we have the conclusions, recommendations that are to be worked on this week. Okay, and then of course we have the reference list, and you are required to use at least 4 sources to support your report. So now I want to take you to the sample report that I have shared with you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sample report and a student report side by side so that you can see and compare what your report should look like in comparison to this sample. Okay, these little notes over here, these are notes that tell you what could go in this area or how to do it. Okay, so these are helpful. But right now, I'm just going to go over each part of the report and show you how your assignment should look like. Now, this is a sample report on this side, on the right side of the screen. Now, I'm only showing you the format, the content of this report. There are errors that need to be fixed, but that's not our focus, okay? So here I have opened on the left side the memo that you guys were asked to create. This is a sample that was shared with you. And on the right side, I have the report that you guys are working on. Okay. So look at it. It looks different. It's the same memo. Well, in this case, it's different. But even if it was the same memo, it looks a bit different than what is on the left side. Okay. So you will have to make these changes to your memo. Your content doesn't change, but the address block, this part changes. Okay, we're going to add a logo. We're going to add the address there. We're going to do the date first, and then the to and from and subject. And we do have the to, from, date, and subject here too, but we're going to change it to this format. Okay, look at the alignment. Look how everything is single spaced. Look how everything, the whole document is in one font size and style. Okay, do not use these huge font sizes for the titles or any specific parts of the report. Everything will be done in one font size and style, which is Arial 12. Okay, So here I'm comparing the memo you have completed, which is on the left, to the memo you're going to convert it into. So again, you're not changing the content, you're just changing the way it looks, the format, okay? So and this is easy because this stuff, you have already got it in your report. You just needed to get it from there to here. But here you're not saying prepared for or prepared by. Instead, you're saying to and from, okay? And you have the professor's name or the receiver's name, their position, and the university's name. And then from your name, your area of studies, or your what area you're majoring in, and then again your university's name. Yes, these two are the same, but that's fine because both these individuals belong to this university. Then you have the subject. Look how everything is single spaced and aligned. I want your format to mimic the format shown in the sample assignment, okay? And in a minute, I'll show you the sample that's been shared with you, which is from the textbook. It looks exactly like this, okay? But first, let me finish how your memo that's going to transfer into the recommendation report is going to look a little different than the one you originally created. So all of the material is the same. You change the title block. Next, you've removed these titles or subtitles that you added, summary, discussion, recommendations. Instead, you just write it in a paragraph format. Again, you are still using the full block method, which means everything is flushed to the left, nothing is indented. So do not indent the paragraphs. Everything is single spaced, only space, double space between paragraphs, okay? Or between titles, okay? So now I have brought back on the left side the actual recommendation report sample that's been shared with you guys on Canvas. And here, we're going to compare the two. Now we're clear that the memo is the same, but the way it looks or it's formatted is going to be changed to the either one of these that you're looking at, okay? Because they're both the same, okay? Date, to, from, subject, same stuff here. A logo, an address. The address is bold-faced. Certain items will be bold-faced. Check the sample for that. But everything else is in the same font size and style, single-spaced. Now I'm going to scroll. And page 2 of this document, and let's also see the page for the sample document. Now, let me tell you that the sample assignment is a lot longer than what you're going to create. It's just a sample. It's not exactly what it is, but on the one on the right is pretty much what exactly you'll be doing, okay? So now, side by side, we have the sample from the textbook and the one that you're going to create. They look pretty much the same. Kind of center your information in the middle of the page. You again have your title, which is bold-faced, some spacing in between, and then you do prepared for. Notice this is the exact same information from here, but instead of to and from, it changes into prepared for and prepared by. And now this time we actually have a space between the two blocks, okay? Few extra spaces, you can reduce this or keep it the same. And let me reduce that a little, okay? But that means that pushed abstract up here and that kind of ruined the other format. So let's just push this down, okay? There you go. So we have the two prepared for and prepared by. Then we have the date, which is also centered in the page and always written in this format. This is the APA format where you have the month, the day, comma, and the year. Then you have your logo and the address. The address again is also going to be bold-faced. And the logo should not be any bigger than a quarter, okay? The size of your logo has to be the size of a quarter, okay? Let's move forward. Next step is the abstract. Now, abstract is something you're writing this week. You did not do this in the previous weeks when we did the rest of the parts of the report. So in the abstract, again, the same format. You have written out abstract over here. Give it a different color to distinguish it from the rest of the writing that you've done. Then you have the title, boldface the title, prepared by. We no longer need prepared to, prepared by. That information, just copy just like over here. You don't have access to this sample, but this sample is exactly the same. In fact, this one on the right was created based on the one on the left. So prepared by, And instead of being the director of some place, you are actually giving us the area of your studies, and then Prairie View A&M University. Then you start writing your abstract. Your abstract is a summary of the whole report. Your abstract will be about a page long. It could be a little under a page, but still very close to having a full page. Okay, then you'll have a list of keywords at the end. Keywords are any words that are main components to your report, like in this case, food insecurity, challenges, healthy food choices, active lifestyle, and all those kind of words they have put into the keywords. Okay, you will do it similarly. Next, we move on to the table of content. Let's also move the sample assignment. And we have been working on this. We've been updating it as we have been working on this project or this assignment for the last few weeks. Your table of contents should look exactly like this, okay? You have a title, it's bold-faced. Then your subcategories, those are bold-faced. The tasks that you completed are listed here, but they're not bold-faced, okay? The key component is that the actual page numbers should match what you have listed here, which means if it says introduction is on page 5 through 6, that better be the case. It shouldn't be misleading, okay? Now, one thing I want to mention over here, actually in technical documents, the numbering of the document starts from after the table of content, okay? The report is numbered using two different numeric methods. Anything about the table of content is numbered in Roman numbers like this. Look at the sample like this right here. Okay. But the numbers that follow the table of content is not numbered, and the numbers that follow are written in Arabic numbers like here. This is not so difficult to do, two different types of numbering on one document, but in the previous semesters I've seen students struggle on this so much so that their focus moves away from what the actual assignment is. So I've not required that on this assignment. So that's why on the sample assignment on the right side, you'll see the numbering starts from page 1. But I'm letting you know that when you have to write a report in the real world, whenever you're in your profession, you will want to check that, what's their requirement on the numbering. Okay, so moving forward, everything you have is going to be listed here. The main titles or subcategories are going to be bold-faced. The tasks or the main points that you are within each category, they're listed here, but they're not bold-faced. They are indented by a tab. Okay, so make sure you see this indentation. Add this indentation when you add the tasks. All right, this video is getting long, but I have to go through all the steps here. So next on the left side, you see the executive summary. We are not doing the executive summary. Even if I go back to the table of content, both sides, here you have the executive summary. And here we don't. We start with introduction. That's because I did not require the executive summary. You don't have to do that. You've done this abstract. You're doing the introduction. That's plenty for this assignment. So I will take this to the introduction and move the right side sample to the introduction as well. Now look, just the look of it. We are just looking at the format. We're not looking at the content. They look very similar. Okay. Center the title, and then you will boldface it, as well as you will use a different color to distinguish it from the rest of the writing. Okay, so in the introduction, you will bring in the background. What's the exigency? Now, what's exigency? Exigency is the need to discuss something or improve something or fix something. So there is a problem, but there's that need, that urge that you feel, that's your exigency. Okay, now that exigency, you have to make it clear to your audience. What is that exigency? This is where you do that in the introduction. Why are you talking about this topic? Why is it important? Why does your dean or any professor, why should they care about this? That information, background information, any details that you need to add before you go into the actual steps that need to be taken to fix the issue, they will go into the introduction. Okay, Let's see, moving forward, introduction has to be about a page long. It can get longer, that's fine, but it doesn't, no shorter than 1 page, okay? And again, the sample that the book from the textbook is way longer than what's being asked from you, okay? So moving to the research methods on the left side, but on the right side, I'm still on the introduction. The reason is I want to show you that in a report, in a technical report or a recommendation report, you will have all this empty space, but you dedicate 1 page and the following pages until you're done with 1 step only to that step. So in this case, this is only the introduction. When you, even though you have it all empty, you start the next step on a new page. So we start research methods on a new page. Research methods is where you're actually going to discuss the steps that you took to complete this task. You're only going to list in this area, in this step, the research methods, what did you do? Okay, so in this area, in the first paragraph over here or 2, it could be 1 or 2 short paragraphs, you will talk about how you begin an assignment and a little bit of the background information, and then move into the actual steps. Your steps will be divided into tasks, just like this, and each task has to be actually what you did. You don't have to imagine tasks that imaginarily, I did this, I did. No, actually, what did you do? So here in the task, you can discuss maybe task 1 was that you assessed the situation or you acquired basic understanding. And then you talk about that. How did you, or what all did you do in acquiring that basic information or assessing the situation? So task 2 could be that you gathered data, you conducted research. Again, you will talk about what all did you do. Remember, you're only discussing what you did, not what you found. Your results, what you found, will be discussed in the next section of this report, which is the results section. So here you're only talking. So task 2, you gathered data and you conducted research. So you're only going to discuss like, okay, I went to the university library databases, or I went to a certain website where I found information. You can talk a little bit about what that website is about, but don't go details about that. The focus should be still on the main issue, okay? You can conduct surveys. If you've already conducted survey, you can talk about that. All of that, just what you did, none of the results, okay? Next, we move to the task 3, which could be like you studied other institutions, maybe how other universities are having similar problem, how are they dealing with this issue, or maybe they've already dealt with it, what the situation there is. That could be another task. And again, no results, just that you went and did this other step. You did the research, okay? 4th step could be that you compared your findings, or you compared your university to that other university, or your research with another research that you found. You could compare the findings. Or step 4 could also be that you established a plan on how to improve this situation. So in the first 3 steps, you discussed what the problem is and how you took the steps to get into a better understanding of it. Step 4 can very well be how now you started planning. How can we fix this? Okay. Again, no results at this point. You're just discussing what you did. Okay. So that gives you 4 tasks, or 5 actually. I listed 5, but you need about 4. And each task will be labeled as task with a number and then a short title to it. And then see that the titles are in a different font color, as well as they are bold-faced. Okay. Let's look at the sample on the left side, and that's the same way they have done it. Now, of course, again, I'm going to repeat this report on the left side. The one from the textbook is way longer than what you are doing. Their task takes about, or their research methods are about 4 to 5 pages. You have only 2 pages, okay? And they're short paragraphs with all the spacing and everything. Remember, everything is single spaced, first of all, but there's spaces between titles and between paragraphs. it's easy to be completed. And you've already completed this part of the assignment. Okay, so it's nothing, no big deal for you right now if you did all the parts. Next part of the report is the results part or results section. And let me bring the sample report to results as well. Again, the same thing. Follow the format of this one it showed in the sample assignment to the T. Follow it to where your report looks very similar to one shown on the left side. Okay, so you have your results again, different font size, it's bold-faced, this one's even italicized. Italicizing is not required, but this sample report is italicized, which is fine. Okay, now you are going to discuss the results. And the good part is you don't have to think about tasks anymore or titles anymore. You actually will pick the title. I'll show you on the sample in the textbook. So task 1 in the results is acquired a basic understanding of tablet use. Okay, so I'm going to go up and see what was task 1 under research methods. And it is task 1, acquire a basic understanding of tablet use. Okay, they're exactly the same. Yes, because in the research methods, you only spoke about what you did. Okay, now you're going to bring the exact same title forward in the results so that that helps build that connection. Okay, we know what you're talking about. The moment we see that title, we know exactly what you're talking about, where this, what this information relates to. And in this task now, you will list what you found. Okay, for example, I told you that you can talk about that I assessed the situation or I acquired a basic understanding of the situation. This in the results, you're going to list what did you find. But I say list, but there should be no lists in here. It should be all written in a paragraph format. Okay, now this is where you will also cite your sources. Notice, look at all these parenthetical citations, and they all have to be done in APA style with a comma and the year of publication from your source. Last name of the author, comma, and then the year of publication within parentheses. And only the sources you use within your report should be listed in the reference list and vice versa. So everything that's listed in this reference list should actually be used in your report. Okay, so how can you show all of a sudden add sources here? This is not all of a sudden. Remember, you conducted this research. You went on to some site to understand, or even if you went on field and interviewed students, you did some research, you did some finding. You might not have scholarly research or published research to cite in this paragraph, but in the following paragraphs, specifically the second one and the third one, it's all based on research. Okay, so your second task was task number 2, gather data, do some research. Now, where did that data come from? Where did that research come from? What did that research say? Those results, share those here, cite your sources. Remember, anything that is not your own work, not your own creation, it has to be cited. You have to give credit to your source. Okay, so I hope this is now easy for you to understand. You've already completed these steps, but many of you were not able to do what was required of that assignment. Okay, and now this one. So hopefully this video will help you understand that it's not big deal. It's just sitting down and getting things together. Okay, especially at this point, you already have those parts that we did in the previous week, so you're just putting things together. Okay, so now moving from the results, we move into the next part, which is conclusions. And conclusions is a new addition to the report. So far, everything except the abstract was stuff you completed in the previous weeks. Now this week, for the final report, the new things that you have to write are number 1, the abstract, and number 2, now the conclusion. To discuss what goes into the conclusion, I have brought you back to your assignment prompt, and this prompt actually tells you what goes into each section of the report. So right here, you will see step 8 is the conclusion, and it says in this section, you will draw conclusions based on the information, data, and research you gathered. You will discuss what you conclude from the results you shared in the sections above. Then conclusions help readers understand and determine the situation more thoroughly. In this section, you will not share what you think needs to be done or fixed. What needs to be done to fix the issues. That will be done in the recommendation section, which is the next section of this report. Okay, so the conclusions is you are now kind of summarizing your findings and putting them into this section. The conclusion section does not use task labels anymore. At this point, the focus of your report is no longer on discussing the tasks that you completed, rather it is on the meaning of the information you gathered. So if we look at the sample report again, over here, the conclusions no longer have the tasks listed over there. You go into 1 or 2 main points that you can conclude, just 2 paragraphs, 2 points are plenty. And again, there's look at the format. Everything is single space. Look at the spacing, look at the color, and what's bold-faced and all that information. Okay, let's move forward. Now we have the recommendations. Okay, this again is a new addition, which means this is what you will be creating this week. You haven't completed this in the previous weeks when you worked on this assignment. So for the recommendations, now you will have to give at least 2 options. Okay, option 1, we can do this to fix the problem. Option 2, here's another way we can fix this problem. Okay, you might want to talk a little bit about the cost that's going to get into fixing this issue on both the options, where the fund's going to come from. That kind of information all will go into your recommendations. And like I said, you will have 2 options, option 1 and option 2. And then that's it. You are done. The last is your references. And like I said, let me double check. Actually, I believe you have to only have 4 sources for this report. And research, yes, it says use minimum 4 sources. Okay, so you will have those 4 sources listed here in the reference list. Again, remember, you will cite only what you actually use in your report. These citations, this will be done in APA format, and also everything, this list should be in alphabetical format. Add hanging indentations. Notice that even the reference list is single space with spaces between each citation. Okay, so this covers the entire report. This is a long video, but I hope this covers and clears all the doubts you had about this assignment. Now, good luck with your assignment. This is due Monday morning at 8 a.m. Try to submit your work on time, and if you have any questions, write to me. Thank you. Bye-bye.